Call our meeting to order. It is 6 p.m. and declare that we do have a board quorum present. If you will please stand for our invocation, which will be led by Mr. Chris Dunn, and then our pledges of allegiance, which will be led by the Lake Jackson Intermediate Student Councilman.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you tonight, Lord. Just thank you for just a wonderful day, another day, and Lord, thank you for this facility that we can gather and do the business of the district. Father, just thank you for the holiday season. Lord, just pray that it might be a great family time for all of our students and staff and community. Just pray for traveling mercies as there will be a lot of traveling going different places. Father, we just thank you for our visitors here tonight, Lord, just especially that we can celebrate so many great things, accomplishments, and just do great recognition with some great things. Father, just ask that the things that are said and done will be your honor and glory tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
I'd like to ask our board to begin making its way down to the front as we transition into our awards, achievements, and recognitions. I will now turn the presentation over to Ms. Carla Chrisman.
Good evening, Board President Howard. Good evening, Board President Howard, Superintendent Massey, board members, staff, and our guests. Welcome to Brazosport ISD board meeting in December. Tonight we have two wonderful presentations for recognition. Our first will be given by Christy Kirshner, who is our Chief Human Resource Officer. Ms. Christy?
Good evening. The purpose of the BISD Educator Spotlight Award is to recognize outstanding teachers across our district. These are teachers who go above and beyond for not only our students, but for their coworkers as well. They are knocking instruction out of the park. They are collaborative team members and support all learners. These teachers lift up their coworkers and students, and their overall performance is spectacular. As I call your name, please come stand by Mr. Massey. Ms. Mary Ann Johnson from Rasco Middle School. And I'd also like to invite Ms. Amy Scott from AP Boydell. In a moment, I'm going to read you something about each of them. Ms. Johnson embodies everything you want to see in a teacher. Her students are challenged every day to grow and learn with a caring approach. The measurables from common assessments prove her effectiveness as a teacher and her students' responsiveness to her instruction. On top of her effectiveness, she is a caring coworker who is always helping others, volunteering for student groups, and mentoring new teachers. Her peers state she is a compassionate teacher who takes pride in teaching. She is always finding new ways to grow, and that she is an example for others to follow. Ms. Amy Scott stands out for many of reasons. Her STREAM classroom, she designs innovative lessons, including cross-curricular objectives. Within those lessons, essential outcomes from courses are reinforced utilizing Tier 1 priorities. For example, students are provided with the opportunity to practice constructed responses in written from their assignments. Another essential reinforcement in her classroom are the measurement teaks in the mathematics curriculum. Ms. Scott supports all teachers and all subjects within the walls of her STREAM lab. Students from pre-K 3 through 4th grade are engaged in meaningful learning that is connected to real-world experiences. Ms. Scott fosters inquiry and facilitates a learner-centered experience for all students at AP Boydell Elementary. Yes, Ms. Morris and Mr. Fuller, would like to join us? Yes, please.
Nice to see everybody. I'll take a couple, 1, 2, 3, and my second, 1, 2, 3, and wait in case somebody else. All right.
Thank you all.
For our next presentation, we'll have Athletic Director Jay Zeller.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Mr. Massey, Cabinet, and our BISD community. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize and celebrate this outstanding group of young ladies and their coaches. A special thank you to the parents and the Buck fans for their support and energy as these ladies competed throughout the year, culminating at the state tournament in San Antonio. You'll recall, I'm sure, that we were here last year at this very same time as well. The Lady Buck water polo team has earned a berth in the UIL State Water Polo Championships in its first 2 years of UIL existence. This year, our Lady Bucks brought home the bronze medals after a hard-fought 5-8 game in the state semifinals, where they simply ran out of time against South Lake Carroll. Notably, their season record was 26 wins and just 3 losses. Those 3 losses only to the 2 teams that ultimately played in the state championship game, and were all very close games. They are back-to-back undefeated district champions, as well as back-to-back 6A Region 3 champions. We celebrate this very successful program tonight and look forward to continued success in the future. Now I'd like to recognize each of these young ladies and highlight some of their awards as well, and we'll go in number order. Number 1, bear with me on the awards because we acquired a lot. Number 1, Gigi Lauer, first team All-District, District Goalie of the Year, first team All-Region, Regional Goalie of the Year, first team All-State, State Goalie of the Year. Number 2, Mallory Varga, second team All-District. Number 3, J.C. Fort, second team All-District. Number 4, Mallory Kessler, first team All-District, District Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-Region, Regional Defensive Player of the Year, and first team All-State. Number 5, Kendall Dane. Number 6, Sarah Mitterling, second team All-District. Number 7, Hope Kadlacek. Did I get it right, Hope? First team All-District, first team All-Region. Number 8, Sydney Slater, academic All-State. Number 9, Emma Meserby. Give me the nod. Number 10, Alex Sparkman, second team All-District and academic All-State. Number 11, Allie Jones. Number 12, Victoria Martin. Number 13, Larissa Bracken, first team All-District. Number 14, Lexi Mikan, second team All-District. Number 15, Michelle Eby. Number 16, Sophia Guajardo. Number 17, Oriana De Simone. Number 18, Anna Ruschel, second team, all districts. Number 19, Maria Gonzalez. Number 20, Kesley Korn, first team, all district, regional, honorable mention. And our assistant coach, Coach Kyle Hayner. And last but not least, our head coach Robert Brown. Coach Brown was also the boys district coach of the year, girls regional coach of the year, and we're going to have to rewind a year. But Coach Brown was also the 22-23 National Federation of High Schools Boys Water Polo Coach of the Year. So definitely want to congratulate him.
Okay, ladies, we talked about this. Come on down. Come on down. Come on. I'll stand in the back. Right here. Oh my God. This is my 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. No. Okay. You gotta put your head in between two. Wait. There you go. I gotta stay with you. Okay. Y'all switch. Board member, sit over here. There we go. Okay. Patty, if you'll come up, everybody please bring your home. Got it? Okay, board members, tippy toes. There you go. Mr. Dunn, I've got a spot for you right over here.
No, I'm good.
Right over here, between Mr. Howard and Mr. Aggie.
Yeah, talk like that.
Yeah. Okay, so come this way. Yep.
Not everybody.
All right. All right, everybody smile.
So I need to
There's
say.
several of them.
Just a minute here.
Get that big head up. You got kicked out of Photoshop.
All right, I'll take a couple and then everybody else is welcome. 1, 2, 3, and another one, and now anybody. I'll just go away.
Please, parents, step on up. You're welcome to step right up.
It's wide.
Keep coming. Keep those smiles coming. Not every day you get to smile. Okay? Anybody else? All right, thank you, ladies, so very much. Sadly, this does conclude our recognitions for the evening, but we'll be back in January with a lot more.
provide an audience with individuals who have signed up prior to the meeting to address the board. Tonight, we will not have any requests to comment to the board, so we'll move on to the next agenda item. Our next item is our consent agenda. Are there any items requested to be pulled from the consent agenda this evening from the board?
Move for approval.
We will also allow public comment from individuals that have signed up prior to the meeting. It's been moved by Mr. Sportner to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I hear a second? Second by Mr. Dunn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by nay. All right, that carries. Thank you. Next item that we have under our agenda is our action items. Our first action item is to consider the approval of the audited financial report of the year that ended August 31st, 2023. Ms. Kelly, enlighten us. Maybe.
Well, I'll go ahead and get started. Good evening. Tonight it is my pleasure to present for approval the audited financial report for the budget year ending August 31st, 2023. Here tonight is Mr. Wade Whitlow, audit partner with KML LLC, the firm hired by the Board of Trustees to conduct the independent audit over our financial statements. Before I turn it over to Mr. Whitlow, who will review the details of the report that is attached in Board Book, I would like to acknowledge our entire BISD Business Services team, which is led by Ms. Kaylee Crisp, our Director of Finance, who is also here tonight. The entire team works throughout the year to ensure our processes and procedures are aligned and provide strong financial internal controls over our reporting. Ms. Crisp spends countless hours, including many weekends, during the months of September and October to close out the fiscal year in preparation for Mr. Whitlow and his team. The audit tonight is a clean opinion, which is a testament to Ms. Crisp's expertise, dedication, and strong leadership. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Whitlow to share more details from the report.
And as always, public comment will be allowed before a vote is taken on each of our action items. Mr. Whitlow.
Good evening, Board. I want to echo what Rebecca just said about Kaylee, the team here at the administration building, and the other various departments that we have to visit around the district. Anything we need or we need to talk to conduct our audit as efficiently and effectively as possible, that's made possible by everyone. When we need something, they're there answering questions that we may have, getting us information so we can conduct it in an efficient and effective manner. So thank you to everyone for allowing us to perform that audit. Within this audit report, it's pretty comparable to prior years. We have 3 letters that we're issuing within this audit report. The first letter that we're issuing in this report is our opinion on the financial statements. And as Rebecca alluded to, the district received an unmodified opinion. So that's a clean opinion. That tells the readers of the financial statements that what they read after that letter is materially and factually correct. We had one accounting standard this year that was implemented that did affect the district, and it relates to subscription-based information technology arrangements. And not to get into the auditor ease or the accounting ease, but if you have a long-term arrangement that meets different bullet points listed out within that standard, then that arrangement is capitalized as a capital asset on the books. If it's an arrangement that's going to be paid into the future, if there's an obligation to pay into the future, then there's a long-term liability associated with that arrangement. But with the district, for the arrangements that met the scope of this standard and that are included in this these financial statements, there were no they're all paid for up front, so it's just a capital asset. There's no long-term liability to offset that capital asset. So that is one change in here that is reflected. The other 2 letters that we have in here, and they're near the back of the report. The first letter in the back of the report is our report on internal control. So what we do is, as auditors, we have a risk-based approach where we come out and look at the controls that are in place across the district. and we go through transactional testing, and we test the systems that are in place. With that letter, if we identify any deficiencies in internal control, we will report those within that letter. But I'm happy to report that there are no deficiencies in internal control that are disclosed in that letter. In years past, we have an optional letter that we issue that there are deficiencies that don't rise to the level to be included in this letter that we're issuing, but it's more of a communication to management saying, hey, you need to tighten up here or there. Happy to report that we didn't have any of those findings this year either. So that's a testament, like Rebecca said, to the hard work of everyone around the district. Our third letter that we're issuing in here is our opinion letter on major federal programs identified for the single audit. Got to refresh myself. So we had two programs that were major this year. The first is ESSER. The ESSER program, I've been saying this for about 2 to 3 years now. As long as the spending within that program, as long as there's funds available and it's continued to be spent over a threshold, we're required to test that program. So we've looked at it for 2 to 3 years now, and the expectation is that in the following year, in fiscal year 24, unless something changes at the federal level, we'll be required to test that program again. The other program that we tested was Title I, the funding received for Title I. So with both of those programs, we're issuing an unmodified opinion. So we didn't identify any issues over compliance related to those programs. Everything else in this report, from a financial health standpoint, the district's in good health. One item in the Child Nutrition Fund, in years past, when COVID started, the Child Nutrition Fund was straining a little bit financially, just with kids not buying lunches and things of that nature. Well, there's been additional funding that's come out to kind of revamp that up. Well, now, and it's not isolated to BISD, it's districts across the state where there's an excess fund balance within the child nutrition program, and the main thing is to have a plan in place to spend that fund balance down. And when we were out here in the summer, had multiple conversations with Rebecca and other people, and Rebecca and the team, everyone in the district knew that was present, and so that plan was implemented before we could even get out here and say you need to put a plan in place. So that is reflected in the financial statements, having a little excess fund balance, but there is that plan in place to combat the excess. The budgets that are disclosed in here, everything was positive from a reporting standpoint related to the budgets here. So everything was clean from that standpoint. And with that, I'll wrap up talking and take any questions if y'all have any.
Any questions from the board? Any questions or comments from the audience? All right.
Thank you, Wade. So this is an action item and requires board approval, so at this time, the administration recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the 2022-23 audit report as presented by our certified public accounting firm, KM&L LLC. I'll be happy to answer any follow-up questions as well.
Do I have a motion to approve? Move for approval. Moved by Scott, seconded by Mr. Reinhardt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. That carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Willow. Thank you, team.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you. You don't have to leave, wait.
Looks like they're about to wrap up.
Yes, sir. Next item that we have is our reports. Under reports, public comment will be allowed on each report. Our first report is our student workforce development update. Jessie Jennings.
Well, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight as we provide an update to our Workforce Development Department here at Brazosport ISD. Just 3 short years ago, a goal was set to create and launch a major giving campaign centered around our Career and Technical Education Department in order to successfully merge and grow students who would meet and exceed the needs of our local workforce. Since then, we have broken and surpassed that initial goal to raise close to $6 million. We've had large corporate investors such as Dow, Freeport LNG, and BASF, along with significant investments from contractor companies, including Marquis, Context, Ferguson, KCG, and Apache, to name a few. We've even seen investments from municipalities in the form of grants and donations from the City of Clute, along with the City of Lake Jackson. These investments have allowed us to launch our Alternative Resources Department, along with hiring a Workforce Development Coordinator, bringing on board Mrs. Inga Gibbons. Our department has met with these investors to discuss the needs and gaps they see within their own workforce and how we as a district can partner to provide the support needed to bridge those gaps while still offering a well-rounded educational opportunity for our students. It is now my privilege to introduce Alternative Funding Director, Mr. Aaron Ennis, as he comes up to discuss the next steps our team has diligently been working on in growing our students who are equipped with the skills needed to be successful within BISD as well as beyond.
Thank you, Jesse, and thank you to the board and Superintendent Massey for having us here tonight so we can talk about our workforce development program. It is greatly appreciated. With a lot of excitement with workforce development and everything that we've done, the next few slides that we're going to cover will really highlight our different programs and how we're utilizing our alternative funds that we've received through our investment campaign. We'd like to start out with the 5 phases of how we consider creating the future workforce, which starts, as everyone knows, with career and technical education. So we start with career and technical education, and then students, after they graduate, they will enter into the workforce. The workforce, after we educate them and they go through our programs, will then train a more competent workforce. They will go through different certifications, and they will have a lot of different programs that will make them more competent. Then they will provide skilled labor to their particular workforce and whatever organization, whatever company that they're associated with, which should and will, and what our surveys have shown, yields better products and services and labor to those particular job fields, which in return, it actually grows career and technical education. So this is a working wheel on the 5 phases of how we consider creating the future workforce. In our workforce development department and CT pathways, we have worked very, very hard to form exclusive BISD partnerships, and these are just a few of the different organizations that we have launched that with since the start of August. So we expect this to continue to grow and to multiply, but we've been very fortunate to launch a campaign with Volkswagen over at the Port of Freeport. This will directly affect our logistics students that may get into mechanicking, things like that. So that's a direct line to ag mechanics. The FIT program with Ferguson Industrial, this is industrialized distribution of materials. So they do a lot of sales and marketing, so our business pathway is very set up for that particular field. Sampson Fabrication, which is just down the road here in Clute, for our next welding and fabricators, they want to have externships with our teachers. They also want to hire future fabricators and have practicum students. Mrs. Gibbons has already worked with them on aligning those. Homegrown Healthcare, we just left the ribbon cutting where they are officially now open here in Lake Jackson. A lot of BISD former students and graduates have opened up that business line, and they will participate in our advisory committee's first ever signing day for healthcare, HOSA health science students, and they are our first partner that will do interviews and take on those students. The Health and Safety Council, for those that are familiar with our petrochemical and our construction line of work, Health and Safety Council is probably considered the gold standard of health and safety, and they have a program that's called Safety Essentials that is in association with Texas A&M, where we will provide students to go through different various methods of training so they can better align their training methods for an 18 or 19-year-old student that may be entering into that particular industry. Indris Hauser, along with University of Houston, We have launched a program that will definitely affect our construction, our engineering, and manufacturing students. Out of Pearland, they do a lot of different fluid dynamics and instrumentation. So the P-Tech students that will go on to that will definitely help. And then the big one, right, our BISD Teacher Apprenticeship Program. Alternative Resources, aligned with our Workforce Development Coordinator, Inga Gibbons, will begin working with Human Resources and visiting with the students in the education and training pathway to let them know of all those different possibilities. So as you can see, since August, we have a lot of different partnerships that we've launched. And we actually met today with another one that we can hopefully announce here in the next few months after the new year. So everyone's heard of our BCPC Signing Day. This is something that me and Mrs. Jennings, when I was still over at Infinity and Wood Group, we launched years ago to try to build the construction and petrochemical workforce, because we know that we are definitely in need of that. And so we found it very valuable to showcase the different numbers that BISD and the statistics have versus the other 18 high schools that are associated with this program. So for those that don't know, we obviously have 2 high schools here, but there's 18 other high schools that are very competitive in the Signing Day program, from Matagorda all through Brazoria County. So if you look at the number of applicants that we've had the last 5 years since we launched the program, BISD has accounted for 128 applicants versus 186 applicants from the field. So that's our 2 high schools versus 18 other high schools. If you look at the number of interviews that we've been able to conduct, we are responsible for 432 versus 691 interviews conducted by the field. And then the big one here at the bottom, total number of hires, which is very important. We've had 74 hires, and the field has had 87 hires. BISD accounts for our applicants that we have had. 58% of our students that go through Signing Day and do interviews, we can now show that they are getting hired at an almost 60% clip. So that is something to be very, very proud of with our CTE and Workforce Development Program. So, employer surveys. We spend a lot of time visiting with our different employers, our business partners. We know that we need to continue to strive to get better in areas like soft and employability skills. We have met with True to Life Ministries to help us with that, and we now have a schedule where we will be visiting with a whole wide range of different students inside the CTE capacity for that. Hands-on training in association with ABC, MSTI, Safety Council, issuing TWIC cards, things that are going to actually make these students more marketable when they go through the Signing Day process. Mock interviews and resumes for all of our different CTE students. Practicums, we have really increased and been able to ramp up that particular participation with on-the-job training. Safety and health, we know that the students entering into the construction and the petrochemical field, that safety is number 1. So we're able to launch the safety education team and our different partnerships with Safety Council. And then teacher professional development. I think on January 2nd, we have a whole host of students, teachers that will go out to Dow, and they will actually go through a PD out at Dow, and they'll be able to take that information and then go back to our students and kind of tell them the expectations and the different jobs that align outside of Dow Chemicals. So we're really excited, and these surveys definitely help whenever we're trying to build the next workforce. Our new program that we've been working very, very hard with our business partners on is the BISD Beyond program. So that's an acronym that stands for Building and Expanding Youth Opportunities in a New Direction. So with our investments of $5.9 million, it's predominantly in the petrochemical and the construction field. And so a lot of the times when we're visiting with these particular companies, we try to build our programs and some of our training systems around exactly what they may need. So the Beyond program, it is to continue to build the workforce of the future through career and technical education, utilizing the investments from local organizations participating in the BISD CTE Major Giving Campaign. This will consist of various training, higher education, and support programs that will be separated into 3 separate categories that will benefit our CTE students. So these are our 3 categories. The Beyond program, it starts with our students that are in the junior and senior year. and they are going to be the students that are enrolled in our construction and petrochemical-based programs, kind of welding, manufacturing, construction, ag mech, and even our business students, with the intent that they will receive extra training from the Merit Shop, ABC, and Safety Council through a new helper orientation program where they'll learn different terminology, they'll learn more safety standards, and they'll also go through different training as far as scaffolding and soft crafts, along with flange assembly and bolting up flanges and instrumentation and electrical. So there'll be a whole micro-credential program that will go along with Safety Council for a lot of these different fields that they'll be able to go through junior and senior year that will help them actually be more employable when they go for interviews and they're trying to get on somewhere versus our standard way that we do now. In Category 2, this is the senior year. These are students, again, that are enrolled in those specific pathways that I've already described and that have applied for the BCPC Career Signing Day. We know that things like safety essentials, basic orientation that they have to do to get inside of the plant, Basic Plus, those things are definitely needed. Some extra Safety Council training has also been requested where they can go ahead their senior year and they can go through vehicle driving, they can do some different scaffold training, confined space and things like that. And we also know that the first 2 weeks of a new employee that's trying to make money, fresh out of high school, sometimes they need a little bit of assistance. So we have a graduation package that can be utilized for things like boots and shirts and things like that that can kind of get them going until they start getting paid and start making some money. And then the big one, right? Category 3, this is where the Beyond comes into play. This is for our students that go through signing day, that want to pursue various certifications, maybe an associate's degree at Brazosport College, where we will be able to provide them a credit of $1,000 in association with MSTI and ABC and the college to go into various fields like welding, pipe fitting, millwright, instrumentation, electrical, even the safety business, and construction management. So how do we measure success? So Category 1, we're looking at increasing the number of students in the safety and the construction petrochemical fields. We know that we need to keep doing that because they need people. The number of students that have completed the training sessions and achieve industry credit and certifications, and then sustaining the amount of students that have actually applied for the BCPC signing day. In Category 2, the number of students that take and pass the Safety Council training prior to beginning and work and still enrolled into the CT courses, and then the number of TWIC cards that we issue, because if we're issuing cards and we're issuing credentials, they're more likely to go to work, and then the number of interviews conducted by organizations willing to participate in our programs. And then the number of students that are hired and working within the first 6 months of employment. We know that in the construction and the petrochemical business, if you usually can make it 6 months, then they're on their way to a multiple-year career. Category 3, the number of postgraduate enrolled students in the program annually, and the courses completed. We find that that will be a good way to measure success. And then the number of postgraduates fully utilize the credit and continue pursuing a high-level certification or degree. So just to recap, this is a roadmap that will start with our different categories in junior and senior year. Category 1 is the training and education phase with our helper orientation, soft craft, and then our flange assembly. Moving into Category 2, this is where they start pursuing careers their senior year with our TWIC and our Safety Council training and our graduation package. And then the Beyond section in Category 3, post-graduation with third-party certifications and college courses. With that, I would be glad to take any questions.
I missed the first part. Could you start over? I will go back to what I've said since I got on here. CTE and the opportunities it provides our kids is immeasurable, really, because there's 2,400 kids that go to school across the street, probably. If you spend a lot of time there, you'll find 500 or 600 that, before our CTE program has gotten to the point where it is, that had no clue where they wanted to do, what they were going to do, and how they were going to do it. And you just sit and watch the number of kids go in and out of the CTE building and what they do. It's the way we can educate all students, not just some students.
Any other questions?
Is
the final category, the beyond piece of that, is that gonna be managed mostly by us, or is that the college, or is that a combination? What's that?
Great question. So, through MSTI, which is Merit Shop down at ABC, we already have a partnership, and we will utilize them to manage that particular piece as a partner, just like a company would. So a lot of our contractor companies, whenever they send a student off to school or here locally at BC, they will take classes, they will utilize that same format where they will register through them, and then we will be a part of that. The beauty of it is that we will be able to provide tracking for a lot of our different students in what they may get into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the road, because they will be going to what we call the hub down there to check in and to do all this through. So,
Is there opportunities for dual credit for all those kids too, I assume, to some of this?
yes.
Can be done while we're...
We're actually currently in discussion of that right now
Right.
with the current partner with the college as well.
Yes.
Sure. Take advantage.
But once we get going with this is going to be able for us to come back in a number of years and be able to put a dollar amount and a craft amount and a student amount. We can really break down our tracking of how their progress is beyond our doors. So,
Do we have a practicum class currently for these type of construction and safety and all that? They have current ones already?
So this is upcoming is our first year for practicum and manufacturing. We used to have welding too. So with these different industry partners that we've had, it allows us to utilize on-the-job training for them to actually go out into the field as well. And because of the relationship that's been built, they trust our students to go out versus others, that there can be that apprehension of having a 17, 18-year-old student.
Are they gonna allow the 17-year-olds to go in the plant?
so I don't think that they're going to be able to get in the plant, but definitely I think warehouses and shops, we can work our way, especially with our family-owned businesses.
Right.
I think that we can get there.
I assume we could do a lot of that at ABC too as well, I would assume. So.
Yeah, we have 1 or 2 students down at ABC right now, business student that's down there. So we look to expand on that as well. So.
And it's beneficial because we cover them from a liability standpoint on the school district side. So it creates that trust between the two entities.
I just remember when I was in high school, especially now with 8-period days, I mean, I think my kids went to school about an hour the last senior year, but there is a lot of opportunity for kids that get ahead and can have some free periods to do some extra things. And I know, like, when I was in high school, your senior year, a lot of the guys that were going to go straight into the workforce had a part-time or internship or left at noon and went to work somewhere, right? It was through the school.
Yep.
I don't hear about it as much now, but, you know, that there is opportunity for that, especially if these kids get ahead a little bit and can have some free periods.
For sure. It benefited me greatly
Yeah.
back when I was in high school, and then also the tuition piece, working for a company that worked with me on that. It had a reimbursement and a credit type. It really does, someone that works all day that maybe only can take a class or two, it really does make a difference as the years, progress. And so we've been very fortunate to have business partners that will support that.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Any other comments?
All right. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great program.
Thank you. Great.
Next item that we have under reports is the 23-24 District Improvement Plan for the first quarter review. Mr. Ron Redden.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. In alignment with board policy BQ Local and each district goal, it's my pleasure to deliver the report on the first quarter progress made on the district improvement plan. You have a copy of the first quarter formative review in your board book. During each formative review, strategies that support the accomplishment of performance objectives are evaluated as discontinued, NA, which indicates no progress and is a new designation this year. Some progress, considerable progress, and accomplished. To review, discontinued means that the strategy was discontinued this year. NA, or no progress, means that no progress toward accomplishing the strategy's intended outcome was made during the formative review period. Some progress, meaning that from 5 to 49% of progress was made, while considerable progress, meaning that 50 to 94% of progress was made. Accomplished means that 95% or more of the strategy's intended outcome was met. This graphic illustrates the progress made toward accomplishing intended outcomes during the first quarter. Specifically, 0% were discontinued, 7.2% were rated as NA, 30.1% were rated as some progress, 45.8% were rated as considerable progress, and 16.9% were rated as accomplished. District Goal 1 is the district's instructional goal, and it reads, Brazosport ISD will provide a rigorous and relevant learning experience to ensure that every student will be future ready. A major instructional focus this year is on increasing classroom walkthroughs. Classroom walkthroughs are brief, formative observations. The increased number of walkthroughs support the implementation of the district's Tier 1 instructional priorities and provide feedback that informs professional development. A second focus area continues to be college, career, and military readiness, or CCMR. During the first quarter, the CTE department identified additional opportunities for students to earn meaningful industry-based certifications, and students have begun the certification process. Furthermore, individual students were identified who may not have previously earned industry-based certifications, but who could earn them. The district is also supporting campuses with an increased focus on earning CCMR credit on college readiness indicators. This year, campuses are administering the Texas Success Initiative Assessment, or TSIA, throughout the school year. A third focus area is to provide at-risk and struggling students with the ongoing support they need to be successful. One strategy we continue to include, and it is an ongoing focus area for us, is to offer a dropout prevention program. The Brazos Success Academy graduated 37 students through the 30th of November, and which was 25.9% of those who enrolled to start the year. But I have to update you, because through today, where we had some more graduates, we had 3 today, they've now graduated 43, which is 30.1% of the students who started the year with them. That's amazing. It's really remarkable. Another focus area this year is supporting campuses as they become a professional learning community. BISD is a national model PLC district, which is a great honor. PLC campuses collaborate tirelessly and intentionally to ensure that each child learns at high levels in a culture of collaboration and collective responsibility with a focus on results. 4 critical questions guide the work of a PLC, and campus interventions and extensions of learning answer the 3rd and 4th critical questions. What will we do when students do not master the guaranteed and viable curriculum, and what will we do if they already show mastery? Using available data tools, including a new and powerful tool, Forecast 5 Lab, campuses are using performance results to determine which students are in need of additional support, including support through tutorials, and which students need their learning extended. BISD is deeply committed to students and staff safety and well-being. Our board set a goal that Brazosport ISD learning environments will be safe, secure, and conducive to learning, and the district is fully committed to implementing the goal to its fullest extent. Each year, district administrators, safety specialists, and law enforcement personnel undergo ongoing National Incident Management System training to ensure they are ready for any safety or security situation that arises. Strategies related to the well-being of students and staff are also being implemented. This year, counselors received CSIT, or CSE-IT training, which equips them to assess for and report possible child exploitation. Additionally, the district is partnering with the Bay Area Council on Drugs and Alcohol, or BACOTA, to deliver the Positive Actions curriculum to all students in teen leadership classes. Positive Action provides a full child approach to mental health. The district also has a plan to deliver the Catch My Breath vaping prevention curriculum through all tutorial classes for grades 6 through 12. To date, all of the district's elementary school campuses have received training on implementing Quaver Ready. Quaver Ready provides students with skills for success in school and beyond. And finally, some district campuses have elected to receive training in implementing Rhythm, a program that provides feedback on the well-being of students and staff. By the end of the first quarter, most of our secondary school staff received training on Capturing Kids' Hearts. Capturing Kids' Hearts is a vital program for BISD that equips school professionals to implement transformational processes focused on social-emotional well-being, relationship-driven campus culture, and student connectedness. Last year, Brazoswood 9th grade and main campuses were both named as CKH National Showcase Schools along with Clute Intermediate and Lanier Middle Schools. Another important piece to the student well-being puzzle was added this year when a partnership with the Gulf Coast Center was established to provide a pilot program at Lighthouse Learning Center and Brazos Success Academy to help students who are experiencing substance abuse. This program is being offered to the district at no charge. Since implementing the new board goals in 2016, the district has implemented multiple strategies to promote, communicate, and market the accomplishments, achievements, and successes of students and staff. 2 years ago, as part of our Goal 3 continuous improvement process, we began to target the customer service practices of frontline workers using feedback from district surveys. That work is continuing this year. Reports have been created using the 2022-2023 end-of-year thought exchange results, along with reports from mystery calls and visits, to identify additional customer service areas on which to focus this school year. A mid-year thought exchange is currently underway to gather parent feedback on how this year is going for them and for their children. The exchange also asks for feedback regarding front office staff customer service. The information that's gathered from the results of the exchange will be used to plan spring semester mystery calls and visits, as well as to provide feedback to principals regarding their campus's customer service. Additional training will be provided if the thought exchange identifies areas where improvement is still needed. The district once again earned a superior rating in the state's Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas, or FIRST, which is the TEA's financial accountability system. The superior rating affirms that the district is exercising fiscal responsibility to ensure financial strength. We're very proud of the work of our business office team under the leadership of Chief Financial Officer Rebecca Kelly. Supplemental funds were once again distributed to campuses and district-level programs for instruction, support, and programs that positively impact student learning. For example, supplemental funding for bilingual education or English as a second language, the Language Acquisition Department funds a bilingual parent liaison to help meet the needs of our elementary emergent bilingual families. Additionally, a bilingual specialist is now supporting our 3rd through 6th grade emergent bilingual students in all content classes. BISD Technology is continuing to implement activities that will improve the technology infrastructure and support district initiatives. One strategy, Danny, I'm sorry, I have to smile. One strategy that was begun during the first quarter is to improve throughput across the district's networks. Throughput is a measure of how many units of information a system can process in a given amount of time. To successfully implement this strategy, the Technology Department is working with Universal Service Administrative Company, or USAC, to install underground fiber optic cable, also known as dark or unlit fiber, across the district. Completion of this project will result in BISD owning our network instead of leasing it. During the first quarter, USAC approved a funding decision commitment letter from the district to move forward on the project. The cost of the project is $4.8 million. Special thanks is due to Director of Technology David Mendoza for working tirelessly with E-Rate to secure $3.9 million in funding. Isn't that cool? Which lowered the cost to BISD to less than $1 million. As part of the project, the district engaged Lightstream to work on pulling permits from the area cities in order to move forward with construction. The Technology Department has already identified a location where equipment and materials can be housed for the project. Work on the district's command center also continued during the first quarter. BISD Technology is working with Johnson Controls International, or JCI, on the integration of Metasys, the vape system, surveillance, and access control. Another initiative they implemented during the first quarter was to beef up cybersecurity by deploying the Know Before Phishing Awareness Program. This baseline phishing campaign was introduced in September to campuses and district-level staff. The department has scheduled the phishing campaign to run monthly. The Know Before program includes follow-up videos for those who click or open email links or attachments that are phishing. So if you open a link, you're going to get a video. Also in the area of cybersecurity, technology viewed cybersecurity awareness and information videos to be presented at the start of the school year. Recruiting new and developing and retaining current teachers is a district priority. With all of the uncertainty surrounding the funding of education for the next biennium, raises for BISD staff were placed on hold until October. However, to express appreciation and support to staff who chose to remain with the district despite the uncertainties, the board approved paying a one-time stipend to all returning eligible staff with a hire date prior to March 1st, 2023, and who returned for the 2023-2024 school year. This year, the Registered Apprenticeship Program began its second full year with 77 active apprentices. 12 of those apprentices will exit the program in December, and they have already received offers and roles as certified teachers. That is really awesome. In addition, 31 apprentice residents have been placed with high-quality mentors who support them on their apprenticeship journey. During the first quarter, the Human Resources team partnered with Texas Workforce Commission to unlock $283,000 to support apprentices with Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act funds that support their wages, tuition, and training. To further support teacher recruitment, Brazosport ISD finalized an MOU with Reach University, an institute that offers an apprentice-based bachelor's degree in education. Since this is a report, no board action is required, at this time I'd be happy to answer any clarifying questions you may have.
Any questions from the board?
I just have one on several of the categories, if we got an NA.
Yes.
Does that mean?
What that means
Not
is,
that-
well, typically on a no progress, it means that it's timed to begin later. For example, several of them came under goal 3, but we're waiting for information. So once we get the thought exchange back, then we'll begin to look at some of those particular strategies in light of what we need to be working on.
So that's really no progress.
It's no progress, that's what it means. It's the same thing. NA, it's a new category they've identified, I don't know why they just call it no progress. I'd rather them say NP than NA. But that's what it means.
Any other from the board? From the audience? All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you very much.
Next item that we have under reports is our bond claim and construction update. Dornay?
Good evening. In accordance with Board Policy CB Local, it's my pleasure to present the 2019 Bond Program Planning and Construction Update. As of December 7th, we have total POs issued of 84.75% completed or in progress. This is the architect's rendering of the new addition in front of Brazosport High School. And this is the slide that you've seen for the phasing plan for this project. And this is a drone snapshot that was taken last Thursday of the entire Brazosport High School campus, and you can really see towards the bottom the size of the shop room.
It's huge. B4 might be the biggest foray in the school.
Picks up a lot of land.
Not anymore.
This is a view looking towards the front addition and then with the shop building in the back. And this is another side view. And then this one shows a lot of the site concrete that is in place. We've got almost all of the concrete that we can pour right now in front of the shop building. And then once the back part of the existing building is torn down, then they'll finish up the rest of that. This is the ground view of the front entry. The building is dried in with the exception of the storefront where you see the plywood in and the glass goes all the way up to the top. That they should start installing that this week if they haven't started today. This is as you stand in the front entry of the new addition. This is in the security vestibule looking down towards the corridor where it ties into the existing building. This is in vet tech and floral. To the right, behind all of that stack of boxes, you can see the floral display coolers that you access from the classroom side. And this slide shows the coolers that are in place, in the main corridor. It's very similar to the coolers that we have over across the street. And this is the, large walk-in cooler for floral. And this slide is over in cosmetology. And this is the other part of cosmetology. It's moving along very well. In fact, they're outpacing when we'll get power in, so they're going to bring in a generator so they can start energizing the mechanical system, so they can start doing a lot of the cabinet work and flooring and drywall, well, drywall's in, but the things that need controlled air. And this is the ground view of the shop building. And then that's from the inside. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone from the board?
Good.
Good, it looks real good.
It's moving along well.
I'm getting excited.
Yes, I'm very excited.
All right. Any comments from the audience? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, our board committee reports. Do you have any reports from the board?
I'll compliment the CTE group for their market last Friday. That was it was a reasonably inexpensive way to satisfy Christmas gift to yourself and to others. And the cookies were good. And also on this Saturday morning from 8 to 9:30 at Brazosport High School will be pancakes for Santa. Esther Oliveras and her team have, I think they bought gifts for approximately 200 kids. And the thing about this program that they do is, for instance, Chris and I get turned in as from a school. If Chris has 4 brothers and sisters, not only does he get the gifts, but his brothers and sisters get gifts as well. And so they do that for everybody. They not only do the kids that they're given names to, but also their siblings get Christmas gifts.
Have enough money this year? They didn't answer.
I think so.
Yeah.
Last year they had.
So I think COVID shut them down for a couple of years and they're cranked back up.
And it used to, you went in and it was had pancakes inside and all this, and now it's a drive-through deal. They've got a little pancake kit in a bag and they give it to you, plus their gifts, and Santa's there, so it's a good thing.
Any other from the board?
Yeah, you guys have already done the interview with the Canada Press.
Yeah.
My point was to help they visited the PAX today, and they were very excited about that stuff. But I invited them to come to a board meeting and report on it. They weren't real thrilled about that. They said, one of them thought about it, so maybe they'll come and do a report. I said, you just have to stay 10 or 15 minutes, come for the awards, and then you can go. So that kind of eased it off a little bit.
That's what you could tell when you went there. They knew that their time frame was from 3:50 to 4:10, and don't be trying to talk to them at 4:11 because they're out of there.
They asked me how many years I'd been in education, or something about education, and I was like 0. They said, well, Mr. Reinhardt's been in. I went right after you.
72 years is what they told me. They told me 72 years.
And I said, yeah, but I brought y'all a snack. I bet you didn't bring y'all a snack. They were so cute, and they really had some good questions. They really did.
They were not shy.
They were not.
I was not expecting third
The third graders were, the 2 third graders, but the other was pretty.
They were outspoken.
The day I went there was the day that the monsoon came right at turnout time.
Oh.
It was a circus. And I guarantee you, I gained even more respect for elementary school teachers getting those kids out in the rain. That was some kind of something there.
Any other reports?
Yeah, I would, since you brought up students, you guys may have noticed we have a Brazosport High School student here in the middle. Maddie White is her name. I want to introduce her. Maddie is all everything at Brazosport High School. She's officer in many student organizations. She's a very high academic achiever, And, when I saw Maddie, at the start of this school year, I asked her, she's a senior this year, I asked her what her plans were, and, she said she wanted to go to Texas A&M University, and I think she's gonna achieve that. And I asked her, I said, well, what do you wanna do? What do you wanna study to be? And she looked right at me and said, Mr. Massey, I'm gonna be President of the United States.
All right, I believe it.
Yeah, and so I invited her to start coming to, board meetings and local governance, and, she has been to every meeting this fall, as you have seen, and I told her, I believe that you will be President of the United States. So, this is Maddie White.
Yep.
Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Would you like to give a sample of your first campaign speech?
I don't have anything prepared yet.
Oh.
Maybe next time.
You sound like the real one.
All right. I went to an ASL performance across the street last week, and American Sign Language from. It was not what I expected. I expected something different, but there were, I'm going to guess, at least 200 kids who came across the stage from ASL 1 through ASL 4, and not only were they impressive, but the audience was impressive, because we learned you don't clap, you do this, but after each performance, they did this, but they clapped, and they supported the kids, I mean, verbally, very strongly verbally, but just the community was just so into it, and I don't know, I was really impressed. And, there you go. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I want to tell you this too. We were I don't even remember where I was, but when you're old, you see old coaches and do things like that. There are a lot of folks that are highly impressed with our ASL kids that go out and sign the national anthem of our football game. That really. They want to know how do you get them to do that? You teach them. I don't know how you teach them, but you teach them. And so, we're very blessed to have that.
All right, our next item, our work session discussion, our next meeting, we have a special board meeting on December the 15th at noon, right here. And then our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be January the 22nd at 6 p.m. Last on our item is our executive session. It may be called for the purposes permitted by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071 through 551.146. Section 551.071 is consultation with attorney. Section 551.071 on any agenda item. Section 551.72 is for the purpose of discussing the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Section 551.074, personnel matters, appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, dismissal, or complaint. And Section 551.082 for the purpose of considering discipline of a public school child or complaint or charge against personnel. Thank y'all for being here. We will now reconvene. It is 8:39.
I was reading purchase over here. I don't even know what I'm on. 8:39.
Cynthia, have you got a, point study yet this year?
No, but.
Good, Dave, you want it? You want it? Huh?
The wife would love it if you could get it pretty.
We got to Christmas it up.
And there were thank yous.
I'll give it to her.
Yeah, Carl, yeah.
I know.
I used to give it to her, she's not here tonight.
Yeah, she used to say that all the time.
You want last year, did you, Joe?
Yes, we'll have Christmas.
Are we convened? Are we returned?
Convening.
I probably wonder why I put these poinsettias on your table, because
We will now reconvene from the next section at 8:39. Unless anyone opposes it, we stand adjourned. We're dismissed.